Hey, hello and welcome to In the News. Here with our hosts, Matt, me, Ryan, and Dushon. Today we're going to be covering our predictions and also our opinions on Breyer's recent retirement announcement, as well as what we think Biden's who he's going to nominate next. So I think Dushon, do you want to kick this off? You had great interest in the topic, so I'll let you start this thing off here.
All right, so basically, it comes down to about three major nominees. One of them is a judge on the California Supreme Court. One of them is a district judge on the DC District Court, and they got appointed to the DC Circuit Court, but they haven't been confirmed yet. And then, of course, there's Judge Ketanji Brown, who is the obvious pick, who's on the DC Circuit right now. And
Why
out of
should
the
it be
three,
on
if I had to pick, it's obviously Ketanji Brown who's going to be picked, I would say.
Why do you say that?
Well, we know Biden obviously said he's going to appoint a black woman. And then out of the three major nominees, she's the only one who's on a federal appeals court. Because if you look at the current Supreme Court, 8 out of the 9 were on courts of appeals before they were nominated. The only one who wasn't was Justice Elena Kagan, and she was Solicitor General. And the other two were not Solicitor General or on an appeals court. So by this metric, she's the obvious choice.
Okay. So I just looked up her on Google, and apparently we went to the same high school. Different times, but we went to the same high school.
Nice.
That's amazing.
So, just quick, Deshaun, do you want to say the other two names of what you're mentioning? The DC Circuit Court Justice you thought, and the
one of the DC Circuit, her name is Judge Michelle Childs, and then the California Supreme Court Justice, her name is Leandra Kruger. Now, the interesting thing about Judge Michelle Childs, there is a possibility that Biden could withdraw her nomination for the DC Circuit and then nominate her for the Supreme Court. This kind of happened with John Roberts, because if you guys didn't know, he was originally nominated for Associate Justice, and then Chief Justice rank was died.
Mm-hmm.
But then Bush withdrew his nomination for Associate Justice and then put in a nomination for Chief Justice, and then nominated somebody else for Associate Justice. So it's possible we see something somewhere here where he withdraws her nomination for the Circuit Court, and then submits her for the Supreme Court, and then gets somebody else for the Circuit Court. Although I still think Judge Ketanji Brown is the obvious choice.
Okay, so I think we all agree for the most part that it seems like Judge Ketanji Brown is in the lead for his pick, his nomination. So is there, I think now, do you want to go into reasons Breyer resigned, possibly political pressure, maybe he was just tired, et cetera, et cetera? I think we can go into that now.
He has been on the court for 27 years. That's a long time.
Yeah. Although people on the court do quite like to stay on till they're,
the average tenure is only 16 years, so he's 11 years past that.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
And he's 83 years old, so.
Yeah,
he is old.
One thing that might have tipped him more into the retire is what happened to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, just basically having her seat flipped unexpectedly because she decided to hold out. And I think a lot of people on the Democrat side of the aisle were really pressuring him to not let that happen again.
Yeah, I was looking through Twitter one day and for the account, and what happened was I'm looking, and then I see this person, and they're left, and they said like Ruth Bader Ginsburg legacy is she tarnished her reputation by not resigning early or something, and dying on the court, which I found odd to blame someone to, but I digress. Interesting choice of words,
but I do think she should have resigned earlier because she was suffering from cancer.
Yeah.
There was some other illness, but she was suffering from like a couple illnesses for like a really long time.
Yeah,
and there was also the fact that she was like almost 90 years old. So it's like, regardless of the fact that the fact that Democrat or Republican, she should have resigned. You should not be on the nation's highest court dealing with cancer and all these other issues on the top of the fact that you're in your late 80s. That just shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, honestly, when I see anyone that's like really old, like in a high position like that, like whether it's the Supreme Court or Congress or the president.
Presidency.
I just really feel bad because I'm like, at that age, I don't really want to be working. When I get to that age, I want to be, at home with family and whatnot, just enjoying the time I got left, not really working and figuring out how to strategize and this and that. Like, my time, it's over. Like,
Justice Stevens, he retired at 89 or 90, and he lived to 99, so he got lucky.
I do believe Stevens was the one who got mugged in D.C., correct?
That's David Souter.
Oh, it's Souter. Yeah, it was Souter who got mugged in D.C.
If Stevens got mugged, that would have been ripped. This man's 90 years old on the court.
So yeah, I think we got over that. And I would say I agree in terms of like when you're that old and that sick, you might want to pay more attention. You might want to retire and kind of go more for getting treatment and stuff,
and spending
and
time
just doing whatever.
What do you guys think about the fact that Biden pledged to nominate a black woman?
I honestly, I don't really. It's complicated. Like, I don't have a problem if he nominates a black woman to the court. I just don't like that he's playing heavy identity politics with it, because he's not being like he wasn't like we're gonna nominate a qualified person. Not saying Ketanji Brown isn't qualified; she is qualified. But like it's obviously identity politics to get votes later for the midterms and everything.
I think this is negatively affecting Judge Ketanji Brown because she's obviously qualified, and
it doesn't. Yeah,
the fact that Biden backtracked this whole thing by saying I'm going to nominate a black woman, this is kind of tarnishing her whole record.
Right.
If she does get appointed, like Republicans and other people who are against her are just going to say she only got it because she's a black woman. And they're just going to disregard all of her actual accomplishments, just look at the fact that she was a black woman.
I think that's the main thing with that's the main problem I have with identity politics is that like it's really dumb, honestly. Like it
affects it adversely affects minorities too, because it's not like you only got this because of the race factor. And like you could be totally qualified, but like it doesn't matter because like you're only going to be remembered for the fact that you got it for being this race or gender.
Yeah, I think it would have been better if he said, "I'm going to nominate someone qualified in Ketanji Brown because she is on the U.S. Appeals Court. She has significant experience. How long has she been in the court? Since 2013?
And she was for a year, and she was on the district court for like 10 years before that.
Yeah, and then she was on she was she was the vice chair of the United States Sentencing Commission for 4 years back in 2010. So like she has a lot of experience, but like Biden was like, "Oh, we're gonna know." Like it doesn't make her look. It doesn't. I just know it's clearly identity politics, and it's clearly just Biden being once again, and I'm gonna be a bit biased here. The ultimate politician, just doing everything. Every single move he makes is for votes. Every single move.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, like, I don't even think this is an actual like diversity thing, because like, if he really wanted to be like, oh, we're gonna make the court more diverse, he would nominate like an Asian person or a Native American person, because we already have a black justice on the court. There's no Asians or Native Americans.
True.
Yeah.
He's just pandering because the Black Lives Matter. This is the hot thing right now. So he's just pandering to get more votes for himself.
Yeah.
Especially when he was running during the campaign, Black Lives Matter was really popping off during the Democrat primary.
Yeah,
I don't think this is an actual thing where he actually cares about like racial diversity.
I mean, compared to how he was back a few decades ago, we take what he was saying back then. I can guarantee he doesn't care about black voters.
Opposed. Yeah. Oh yeah. No. What was it? Works with Strom Thurmond. Opposes desegregation.
For opposing busing to being his vice president.
Yeah. They're both ultimate politicians. I think what was it? Biden worked with Strom Thurmond to oppose desegregation. Yeah, because he's the ultimate politician. His views will switch every I don't know if he's going to make it another couple years, but his views have been switching wherever the majority. You
guys remember that one quote where he was like, "I don't want my kids to grow up in a racial jungle."
He said he didn't want them to grow up in a racial jungle. He also, I believe, called. I believe the quote was he called blacks super predators when referring to them. I believe at one point. I forget what specific bill it was. It was either the busing bill or it was the crime bill. It was the crime bill where he referred to them as super predators.
Not only that far, like even back pretty recently with Obama as his running mate, he called Obama like the first whatchamacallit,
Yeah, educated.
first educated
Clean.
and well-rounded black man. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
the
you
first.
nailed that. I could hear his publicist just cringing behind that camera.
Yeah, I would say, but I guess we should probably get more back on topic. But yeah, no, we're kind of on topic anyways.
Because he
Identity
doesn't actually care
politics,
about diversity. This is just
yeah,
him pandering to get votes.
basically. It's probably because of the
Well,
midterm, because they're not doing too good right now.
so I don't really know much about her, but what's her track on? What's Kajani's? I think I butchered that point.
I mean, I think you could probably assume off the bat that she's
She would be
liberal.
on the liberal
Yeah,
block if confirmed.
But like, how far liberal? Like Chuck
I would
Schumer
say,
liberal or AOC liberal?
no, she's not AOC and liberal.
Okay.
Like, she wouldn't get confirmed if that was the case. I would say she's actually more like Breyer, where she's like on the liberal block, but she's like more moderate. She's not gonna do anything extreme.
Okay. Yeah, I think. Well, here's another question: do you think the confirmation is going to be as tiresome as, say, Kavanaugh or any of the recent justices, or do you think it's going to be a pretty smooth sailing confirmation?
be like decently smooth sailing, unless
because I don't think she's had anything like Kavanaugh where like people are going to try and exploit it. But I do think Republicans are like going to get whatever excuse they can to try and maybe delay it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much
Maybe,
because
like,
it doesn't really change the
maybe
layout.
filibuster or something for a while, but then like eventually they'll give in because they can't really do anything
Mhm.
because they don't have.
I mean, I
majority.
would say that there's not much like reason politically to really like it doesn't change the layout of the court significantly. It's still the same, replaces a liberal justice with a liberal justice, maintains conservative majority. Republicans don't have too much reason to block it, apart from once again, just kind of grandstanding with politics, maybe.
Yeah,
To midterms,
probably
yeah.
like try and maybe get bonus points. Like, oh, I was that guy that opposed the liberal nominee, but it'll probably get through eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with the midterms coming around, I feel like Republicans stonewalling a justice like this, especially one that's already being brought in with like racial reasons, like she's going to be the first black woman
there
on
wouldn't be
the
any
court.
reason to maybe like minorly just kind of like oppose it, but there wouldn't be major reason to. I mean, there's not really any major like it's not like a key seat. If you like, every seat's a key seat, but when it's really saddening that we need to look at it through a lens of politics when it's the court. But I mean, that's just the reality we live in now. Where I believe in that it's not a key seat politically that they really need to change.
Well, here's an interesting thing. The seat that Breyer has is kind of known as the Jewish seat because it's been held by Jewish justices for like 80 years, all the way back to Justice Benjamin Cardozo. And so now
Cardozo,
Biden's nominating a black woman to the seat. It won't be the Jewish seat anymore. Do you think that'll be a problem?
Maybe among like like maybe no, not really. Maybe among like some hardline commission somewhere that's like a Jewish think tank or something. You know what I'm talking about. There's like the Congressional Caucus for Israel or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The Congressional Caucus for Israel.
Do you know what I'm talking about though? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I'm sure someone will raise that point, but I don't.
It's the Congressional Israel Allies Caucus.
There it is.
That's what it was called. So I mean, like maybe they might, but I don't know. I mean, there's not much reason.
I don't think it's going to hamper anything because there's already another Jewish justice on the court. Justice.
Not only that, but the fact that anyone really knows that minute detail is going to be extreme, or let alone like let that minute detail really.
That also, yeah.
I don't
someone's
think
like, I am voting.
Knows or cares, but like I think like among like the politicians, there'll probably be somebody who complains about it.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I think the ones any which elected Congress, any senator that's in like a swing state or something like that, they're not gonna oppose it. It's only if anyone like has a hard line opposition to be someone in like a safe red state where they don't really have to worry about blowback from the Democrats and their voters, but other than that, I don't really see.
Yeah. Overall, there's
reason or just there's nothing really to gain from stonewalling it.
Well, is there anything else we want to cover apart from wrapping up that Ketanji Brown most likely?
Talk about the other thing about Judge Michelle Childs. She has the backing of Jim Clyburn. You know that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the big Dems in the House. So the thing is, there's apparently Biden owes Clyburn like a favor for him backing him during the primary. And Clyburn's going to try and call that in to get Biden to nominate Childs to the Supreme Court. So that could be a potential thing to look out for.
And
maybe.
There's the political calculation we all know Biden loves to do.
Yes, the good old quid. We do a little quid pro quoing.
Do a little trolling.
Yes. Yeah, no, I don't know if you'd call it in, but maybe. Although Biden might just ignore it. It's like Biden is so old. Is he even going to be in politics after this term?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know if you'd really want to have a favor with the 89-year-old guy.
He's even going to be alive then.
Yeah.
Not only that, but just not to. Yeah, not only that, but also Biden has to consider is he even going to be in office long enough to suffer a consequence of saying no to that?
Well, the other thing is Child far left or moderate?
It's the same with the Ketanji Brown. She'd be in the liberal bloc, but nothing crazy.
I was gonna say if it was crazy to the left, then you might lose Sinema and Manchin, but
yeah,
if it's just Child or Ketanji, they don't really have any reason to, do much.
Right.
So yeah, no, it should be a pretty similar. It'll get held up a bit, but it'll probably just go through.
Yeah, honestly, it'll probably be a party line vote. Maybe one Republican deflects and joins the Democrats.
Mitt Romney, Susan Collins, those types.
And, yeah, Murkowski from Alaska, probably.
Maybe, yeah.
But
so anything else we want to cover on this? We think Ketanji Brown's the most likely candidate to be nominated.
Yes.
This will be my third consecutive correct.
It will. I think we'll mention this to the viewers that Dushon has so far correctly predicted 2 in a row, I believe, nominees before some of the lists were even published. I believe.
Year ahead before there was even
I believe. I believe Amy Coney Barrett. It was before Ruth Bader Ginsburg had even died. I believe
2019. I would just she could be appointed to the court next. Is crazy.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, you got that by a year before Ruth Bader Ginsburg had died. You had predicted it, and as well with Kavanaugh. Before who did he replace? It was a while back. Scalia. Oh yeah, no, it was Scalia. Or no.
Kennedy.
What? Kennedy.
Yeah,
no, it was Kennedy. I was Scalia. Because that was who's Gorsuch?
Gorsuch.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I believe you predicted Kavanaugh as well way in advance. So if Ketanji Brown gets nominated, you should be 3 for 3 on accurate predictions.
First. People could happily say they heard it first here.
They heard it first here. Well, I think there's a list out there where Ketanji Brown's considered the top. But
that doesn't count.
I said this a year ago. I was on top of it.
Yeah, no. I'll vouch for Dushon, where I can say that he is surprisingly accurate so far, and at a 2 for 2 for a year in advance predicting who will be nominated to what seats.
If Biden
so
does not nominate Ketanji Brown, I'm gonna find him. We're gonna get this fixed.
Okay, let's not say that. Let's not.
You better careful there, bro.
Live video, Dushon.
I will.
Okay. Well, I believe that's all.
I will be contacting Chuck Schumer to ensure he votes against.
Well, if that's all, I believe, Matt, you want to do the intro or outro?
Yes. Well, as you may have noticed, Dush might not know much about Ukraine, but he is your guy when it comes to judicial nominees.
Indeed.
With that, we shall bid you farewell. Until next time, please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw. If you didn't enjoy what you saw for whatever reason, as unfortunate it may be, Make sure to leave a comment to let us know why so we can improve. We are very hungry for constructive criticism.